to be able to experience Srila Prabhupada's compassion. He himself was feeling so helpless. Yeah, but he expressed complete dependence on Sri Krishna in that poem. He said, I do not know. Will I convey this message to the soul here? You make me dance. You make me dance as you like. So he's expressing his complete dependence on Sri Krishna because he was in an unfamiliar land with uncertain future. And today we are reaping the benefits of the Lord's. So in today's shloka, we are discussing the concept of justice. It's a very important topic now. It's a hot discussion everywhere in the world. Social justice, social concern. We have to treat everyone with inclusion and fairness. And for that, we establish a set of principles, ethical principles. But today's shloka is very intriguing. What are we expecting from the Supreme Lord? The Lord is equal to all. So how does social justice of the super soul happen? This is the discussion in today's shloka. The social justice of the super soul. So the shloka starts with, because we are part of the bodily conception of life. What does that mean? Let's break it down one by one. Anadi karma phale. We the pure soul, have been associating with matter for a very long time. In fact, we cannot trace back the history of when this contamination happened. Srila Prabhupada gives the example of raindrops. They are pure in themselves, but when they fall on mud, they become contaminated. So we by nature are Satchidanand. But when we come in touch with mud, it is actually lust. Bhagavad Gita says, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it is lust which impels you out of ignorance. We fall into illusion, and that illusion creates an ahankar around us that you are this body, you are this mind, you are these senses. And the goal of life, therefore, is to enjoy these senses. So what is happening is a misidentification. Think of it as you're working hard every day, going to your office 9 to 6. But at the end of every month, your salary is going into someone else's market. How will you feel? So that is the misidentification of the soul. The pure soul thinks that he is the body, whereas he has nothing to do with it. Bhagavad Gita teaches us, Acharya has explained that because of our previous impressions, in our previous lives, we have had interaction of senses and sense objects. Yehi samsparsha hoga. Whenever there is an interaction of sense and sense object, so sense is like an eye, sense object is like flower, sense is like tongue, and sense object is like a gulab jamun. So whenever there is interaction of sense and sense object, what happens? A vasana is created, an impression is created, and those vasanas stay with us life after life because we are changing the gross body, not the subtle body. So when we are in certain circumstances, those vasanas are triggered. When I come in a situation where my past vasanas are triggered, I will develop all situations. So it's the object of the same, but our experience impression is different. The soul conditioned in matter for a very long time. So much more difficult it is to conceive of the super soul, who is even more subtle, who is even more beyond of our reach. So here's some, it said, and when we believe that we are God, then we also tend to believe that when the body is fine, everything is fine. When Srila Prabhupada talks of greatly learned scholars and falsely educated professors, it brings to mind one professor called Paul Steve. Srila Prabhupada's first visit to Russia, he met a professor, he met this professor through the connection of Shamsundar Group. And Srila Prabhupada quotes him again and again. They call themselves professor, but they don't believe in the existence of the soul. Professor Prabhupada, where is the department of the soul? What is the use of this big education if you don't even know that there is a difference between matter and spirit? The professor says when the body is finished, everything is finished. What is here? And do you know Sri Krishna also teaches this philosophy in the Bhagavad Gita? And when the body is finished, everything is finished. Yes. Atha chainam nityajatam nityam mamanya semritam. It does not tell this as gospel truth. It says Arjun, even if you athacha ainam, even if you don't believe in the perpetual eternal existence of the soul, even if you think the soul dies with the body, still there is no reason to know. So Shri Krishna is giving counter argument. He's not presenting the Vedic. So that is the philosophy of the Lokayatika and the Vibhashika, Buddhist kind of connotation. What is all about? There is no separate. They explain it giving very good examples. It can be comparing sometimes. For example, if you take this analogy of beetle nut, we don't chew beetle nut, but people who do, you know what happens? Their entire mouth becomes red. So they put forth this argument that the beetle nut and the red color in the beetle are they separate? Are the same? It's an inherent quality of the beetle nut to express that red color. Similarly, consciousness is an inherent quality of the body. There is no separate soul. You find this convincing? We cannot explain the truth by using analogy. You can you can explain a truth by an analogy, but you can establish a truth using an analogy. There's a difference. So be careful when someone presents those arguments. Analogies do not truth make. We can use another analogy where there is a difference in the truth. So the point is, why do we think, why do majority of the people today have these beliefs and concepts? Because they have had no exposure to the knowledge of the soul. Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this is the most confidential knowledge. Three levels. Confidential knowledge is knowledge of the soul. More confidential knowledge is knowledge of the material energies of the divine, which is Paramatma feature. Most confidential knowledge is the knowledge about the spiritual energies of the divine, which is the Bhagavan feature. So when we know this, when we develop faith in Krishna, one, who is Rasa, who is the who is full of rasa. Yes, this is the conception that we are talking about here. So now we see that if we are in bodily conception, we cannot conceive of a spiritual existence. So that is the problem which happens. We project our mundane conceptions on the divine, our ethical conceptions on the divine. But the problem is there are two different ontological. By ontological state, I mean different groups like solid, liquid, gases. You cannot compare them. So one is Ishwar Tattva. Tattva is the right word. One is Ishwar Tattva. One is Jiva Tattva. You cannot you cannot push a square peg in a round hole. You cannot apply the ethical moral values of humans, Jiva, on the Ishwar. So that is what Srila Goswami is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj in this verse. Let us look at some attributes, some qualities of the Lord, which Sukha Goswami is using beautiful adjectives in this shloka. First, he says the Supreme Lord is Parasya. Parasya Shakti Vividai or Suyati. Parasya means not of this phenomenal. He's beyond, he's transcendental. Parasya means supreme. Then Dhamma Kartu. Dhamma Kartu. Dhamma comes from the Sam Dam Dandati. So Dhamma is administration or control. He is the supreme controller. He's transcendental. He's the supreme controller. He's also Akhil Atmana. He's the super soul of everyone. And he is Kaivalya. Normally, normally we hear this word Kaivalya and we conceive of an impersonal concept. But Srila Prabhupada so beautifully defines Kaivalya here that Krishna is Satchidanand, Krishna is Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, Krishna is Rasavaisa, that is only Kaivalya. There is no difference between any of these concepts. So for us, the Vaishnavas, Kaivalya means Rasavaisa. Krishna is the fountainhead of all rasa. Now, if Krishna himself is the super soul of all souls, how can he have material bodily concepts, material bodily limitations? Very easy argument, right? So how do we get this body? Because of our previous karma. According to our previous karma, nature facilitates, Prakriti provides a certain body. But Krishna does not have karma. Therefore, Krishna does not have birth. And if Krishna does not have birth, there is no body and soul difference from for Krishna. Krishna is absolute. What do we mean when we say absolute? There is no difference between his inside and outside. There is no difference between his body and the soul. It's just one. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Krishna is bliss personified. It's not that there is Krishna's transcendental body and his soul. Krishna is completely spiritual. And in fact, all of us in our original Swarupa are like, we have the potential to experience that. So, are we convinced that Krishna, because he is Parasya, he is Akhilatmana, he is Kaivalya, so therefore he has no material conception, he has no material body, and therefore he has no material aberrations or material fall. Very easy, because scriptures sing Krishna's glories and define Krishna's qualities in this fashion. So the whole conception of I and mine, aha, mameti, that is the material conception of that. For Krishna, there is no I and mine, no aham mameti for Krishna. Janasya mohoya aham mameti. This is for conditioned souls. How is Krishna? Krishna is Om Purnam Adam. Krishna is complete. Krishna is a complete soul. That is the invocation of Sri Upanishad. What do we mean? Krishna does not need anything from outside to boost his ego. It is we who humans who have a vacuum inside us, which we try to fulfill through status, through possessions, through glorification. Krishna is Atman, Krishna is Aptaka. There is nothing external that can complete. Krishna is already complete. He's perfect and complete. In fact, from him comes Prakriti, from him comes Jiva, which are also perfect and complete. So the idea is Krishna is not in need. We are in need of external things. We need glorification, prestige, status, brands, because using brands, it takes our status one notch up. That means to start with viewer income. That doesn't apply for Krishna. He does not need our prayers. He does not care about our blasphemy. He is unaffected. Very good example of being carried away by praise is example of Indra. We talk of him again and again, but he is very powerful. So with all respects, when people in heaven glorify him, Jai, Jai, so that changes your state of mind. It intoxicates you. So much so that when Indra's guru, Brihaspati, came in, he failed to acknowledge and respect him. So that led to the downfall of the entire group. They lost heavens. How did it start? Because he was intoxicated. So this is an example to show that Krishna is not in need of anything from us. On the other hand, Krishna is also not affected by our blasphemy. When Jalai and Madai, especially Madai, when he attacked Nityananda Prabhu, and later Lord Chaitanya came and Nityananda Prabhu begged him to shower mercy rather than, kill him. So Madai, because he had personally physically hurt Nityananda Prabhu, he was feeling a huge guilt inside of him, and therefore he was restless. But Nityananda Prabhu later on met him and said, "Don't worry, I did not take your offense seriously." Does a parent take the kicking of a child seriously? That is the relationship. So what we need to do here, what today's shloka is telling us to do, is just change our point of view. We are looking from our limited, mundane point of view, and we are trying to understand Krishna, right? How can Krishna be partial? How can he take side of Indra and destroy the demons? How can he give liberation to Shishupal? That's your mundane, material point of view. From Krishna's point of view, you are a child and Krishna does not mind your blasphemy. Neither is Krishna in need of your praise. When we start to see things from Krishna's point of view, everything falls into. Do you agree? This is what this verse is telling us. Same on the story of Brigumuni, right? Brigumuni went out to test who is the supreme. So he did progressively, he did a mental offense, a verbal offense, and then a physical offense to Vishnu. Did Vishnu get offended? Lord Vishnu said, "Sorry, you kicked me. Did it hurt? My chest is too hard. I hope your lotus feet are not affected." So this does not show that Krishna is being aloof. This just shows that Krishna is not affected. Yeah. So they were attacking Dhritarashtra with arrows, but for Dhritarashtra they were like toothpicks. Similarly, our blasphemy for Krishna is not going to affect Krishna. Srila Prabhupada regularly use this example of if you spit at the sun, where is it going to come out? On you. So Krishna, what does Krishna care for? Krishna cares that I want an intimate, loving relationship with the Jiva. If the Jiva begins to approach me with love, I'm sold out. Even if the Jiva is insufficiently struggling to chant out my name, Krishna, Krishna, as the Bhagavad says, Krishna takes it very seriously. Or at least he is doing it even if there is no remuneration. He's trying to develop love for me. So it said if we take one step towards Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps towards us. So what is his heart? How do we know? Scriptures tell us Krishna's word, Krishna's mind, and Krishna's heart. And acharyas help us to understand that even better. So Krishna's heart is full of compassion for the jiva. How can I get them back to God? In Sri Shopanishad, Srila Prabhupada writes, Krishna is more eager to get us back than we are to go back to him. We are like still one foot in the material world, one foot here. We are now looking like a devotee, but we still have our attachments. We say, Krishna, I don't want to come there, but why so much? Let's take it easy. Let me do my thing here. So there's this very hilarious story of Srila Prabhupada when he first came out with Easy Journey to Other Planets. So when he had begun his mission in India, so he was giving it to a person. So that person asked, Prabhupada, what does this book tell us? So Prabhupada said, this tells you how to go back to Godhead. The person asked, if I go back to Godhead, will I be able to come back to Jhansi? So Prabhupada said, no. So then I don't want to. So do we really want to go back to Godhead? How many of us are ready to go back to Godhead today? Why? Yes. that's the inspiration and the role modeling that we senior devotees. So Krishna is not thinking of himself as a cruel master. I am the controller and jivas are my slave. If they don't worship me, I will make them suffer. That is not his attitude. He does not want vengeance. He does not want revenge from us. There is no soul who is not connected to Krishna. Do you know how you feel when somebody is a part of you? Ask a mother. A mother knows how it feels to see a child who is a part of her. A parent, you see the child, and in the child you see yourself. Or similar notes, similar speaking style. So think from Krishna's point of view, we are all a part of him. That is how he looks upon us. Not as a cruel God ready for punishing with a rod, but as a parent from whom we have all come. So what would he want for us? For him, the bond is constant. From our side, the bond is forgotten. So, Tesham Eva Anukam. Throughout the Bhagavad Gita, which is a philosophical treatise, Krishna cannot hide his compassion. I will protect him. I will destroy his ignorance. I will enter into his heart. I will save him from the ocean of birth and death. Krishna, why are you taking it personally? Keep it a philosophy class. Krishna says, I can't because they are my children. So that is the heart of Sri Krishna. And from Krishna's side, it was always there. But from our side, it got blocked because of the bodily conception. So in the spiritual world, everything is perfect. But in here, in the material world, everything is austere. Even if we work very hard to make things comfortable, it will be comfortable only for a certain time. Because the default nature of this world is to be uncomfortable. But how do we live? You know that story of a person who falls into a well and then is hanging by a branch of a tree. Amidst the miserable situation, which is the nature of this world, we still taste a drop of honey falling on our lips, falling on our tongue. On, on the top, we see the lion ready to devour us if we try to climb up, and below, we see the snake of death. And the two mice of day and night are chewing away on the branch on which you are hanging. So if the soul feels happy in this material world, you can understand how laughable that situation is. The spiritual world is totally different. We don't have that experience. We have not been able to conceive of it. We cannot even imagine it. We just try to keep projecting our material limitations on the spiritual world. Therefore, we ask such questions. How can Krishna be partial? You are projecting mundane values on something that is transcendental. Your logic fails. So Krishna is only interested in rasa. There is no boredom in Puroka. There is excitement, but that excitement is not like our excitement for the weekend. When we immerse the boredom of the week in partying. Excitement in Vrindavan is to increase the ecstasy of the Gopas and the Gopis. So Kalia comes back to Vrindavan a second time. Oh, Kalia has come back again. New excitement. This time I'll not dance on its foot. This time I'll ride on it like a horse. So that is the excitement, that is the variety in Vrindavan. So Krishna is Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. And because he had such deep love for all of us, all living beings, he desires that we also taste that nectar. He is complete, but he cares for us. He wants us to also participate. So we cannot enjoy like God, but we can enjoy with God. That is exactly what Krishna is doing. He is inviting us into his eternal master. Who invites you straight into the private quarters of their home? Krishna is inviting us. So that is Krishna's intention to take us back to Godhead. How do we develop that desire? Yeah. See, for us now, honestly, Krishna is a concept. We have become devotees, we have been here in the society, but we have not really learned to appreciate Krishna's Nam, Roop, Guna, Leela. name, form, qualities, and pastimes. If we don't invest in understanding, appreciating Krishna's qualities and Krishna's pastimes, how do you think we'll develop a connection to him? If I show you a picture of a black and white picture of 10 people standing, will it arouse any emotion? If I tell you this is Mary Curie, this is a Nobel laureate, five of them who are standing next to each other are all Nobel laureates, then will have emotion. So to develop love, to develop a longing to go back to Godhead, we first need to learn to appreciate Krishna's qualities and pastimes. So that means investment. While you are here, you already have to be in Goloka in your mind. Then you are ready to go back to God. Otherwise, we have our own understanding. Going back to God, I'll have to live in a forest. I'll have to build a house. But I like my car. So that we have to start being in that already. So this is the essence of this verse. So we have to internally try to change a part of ourselves. We have to change our habits. We have to make favorable choices for Krishna consciousness. In that way, we'll develop an attraction for Krishna. It is not going to be a flick of a switch that suddenly you are Krishna conscious. No, it's okay. It's almost time. So this is what Srila Shukdev Goswami is explaining to Parikshit Maharaj, that Krishna is absolute. There is no fault in Krishna. He's not affected by your prayers or by your accusation. He's Om Purna. But he's not that Purna who is aloof. He's that Purna of which you are a part, and he loves you. So out of compassion, he is inviting all of us back home. So I'll conclude here. Thank you very much for this opportunity and your warm hospitality, kindness, and love, which I've experienced over the past few days. Krishna willing, we'd like to take your association again, and we invite you to Govardhan Eco Village if there is any opportunity. We'd love to reciprocate. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. I don't think we have time for questions. Okay, let's take this. Yes. Yes, so please.
So how to understand the rasa can sometimes otherwise
The
sometimes can be contradicting the rasa.
Rasa. Can you elaborate with
For
an
example, the purport and the mention. Krishna does not get affected last. We will not feel hurt.
Correct.
But also we hear in past times when Varadev was fighting Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha speaks some unkind words and it is mentioned that Varadev speaks. So that's like one example. Certainly Krishna is like you see that he becomes extremely upset when Vaishnava offense happens. How he becomes upset in Jagai and Madhya and was. But from that point of view, they are like all are his amshas.
Correct.
Everything is soul level.
Correct.
It's not like as serious that it's like a you're getting unequal, like imbalance kind of reaction. So how to not see it kind of see contradiction?
Absolutely. That's a very valid question. So first thing is, yes, there is differences when we approach and explain Tattva versus when we explain Rasa. Taking the first example of Varadev and Hiranyaksha. So that context is a little different. There it talks of two Kshatriyas fighting. How do they evoke anger and energy in each other? By cursing each other. You are not going to go alive down from this battlefield. So it makes the other Kshatriya also more chivalrous. So that is meant to increase the Kshatriya bhav in each other. That's a thing of the battlefield. Like you can do certain things in the range. That's different. Different rules apply. In the case of Nityananda, I would say we should look at it as what category does Krishna see us in. If you are an ordinary jiva, you are practicing karma, jnana, yoga, Krishna doesn't have a personal connection with you. You are a stranger. So for you, the laws of nature will apply. But if you start practicing bhakti, you start developing a personal connection with Krishna. Krishna will take you as family. And if somebody in the family insults you, that becomes an upset, not a stranger on the street insulting you. That becomes um, abuse. That becomes
Family is again like very kind of doesn't again fit with that one. Vasudeva Kutumbakam, even as Krishna.
at different levels. So any concept we use, we should know the context. So when we use Vasudeva Kutumbakam, it's at the level of also. But when you're using the term Vaishnavapra, that is even society of Vaishnava. Who will do Vaishnavapra? Somebody who is a Vaishnava or aspiring to be a Vaishnava. That means they have faith in Krishna, they have faith in Bhakti. That is one category. That's the context of Apra. But if somebody does not have faith in Krishna, then in general, yes, Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. We are all connected to each other as Krishna's children. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. For your pleasure. We had the whole exercise.
God. Yeah. God. Yeah. 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 Yes. Yeah. 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 Haribo. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Chigo. The Lord seed of our spiritual master, of the which you contain your devotional service. I bow down to the honesty of great honor, brothers. That is great honor, because most materials contain the Messiah of Krishna. My own wish is that when the conscience is purified, the words emanating from his lotus mouth, attachment to his lotus feet, perfection is